everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
OtakuCast. I'm your host, Angel's Calamity, and I have a small YouTube channel, and I finally got that freaking I'm already starting out great.
Good job.
That first video up, I promise, so head over to my channel after the cast to check that out. My co-host, DC.
Hello, I'm Directionally Challenged. I will be bringing an interesting new indie game to my channel tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then starts the Dragon Quest.
I thought you were the year of Pokemon knockoffs.
I have to finish Dragon Quest first, and then it's
There.
all Pokemon.
Pokemon's good. Good stuff. I got more Visage coming this next week, too, so keep a lookout for that. Visage, good stuff. But anyway, it's time for us to start our new segment.
The news.
As every week, we go over news that interests us, and our first news story is Kevin Hart officially playing Roland in the Borderlands movie.
I
still
think it makes no sense
about that, yeah?
to me. I don't think Kevin Hart fits the image of Roland, the very kind of tall, muscular, deep-voiced man, and Kevin Hart is one of those things. I give him credit for that. He's got muscles. Well, he is a grown little man, which is how he describes himself, and he does not have that voice. It's like I said, it's like casting Chris Tucker in the role.
Look, while I also think it's not the greatest match, I think they're probably going to use like CGI and stuff to make up for it, and maybe it'll be good. Lionsgate Borderlands adaptation will be directed by Eli Roth from a script penned by Craig Mazin, the creative team. Oh, Eli, I can read words.
Yeah, Eli Roth.
Of the HBO miniseries Chernobyl, Hart joined the cast of Borderlands as Roland marks a rare, if not unprecedented, deviation from his usual comedic roles, though Roth expressed his confidence in the actor's ability to portray the serious character in a statement. I am thrilled to be working with Kevin. He said Borderlands is a different kind of role for him, and we are excited to thrill audiences with a side of Kevin they've never seen before. He's going to be amazing Roland. And maybe he will. I
don't think he will.
He could.
Look, I don't know. Kevin Hart, it just doesn't seem like the role for him. Which is weird because apparently Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes are going to be doing a Netflix series together. And I thought that Wesley Snipes might have been the better choice for Roland. He's got the voice, he's got the body, he's got the height, he's about the right age. That's just my opinion.
Kate Blanchett's gonna be Lilith. So the Siren. I don't know. And they just go on to say how they think it's doing well, and the filmmaking team has adapted the story, and it couldn't be in better creative hands. So
we'll see. We'll see.
We shall see.
Video game movies don't exactly have the best track records.
This is true. So, what's our next news story, DC?
It's a very short, simple story. Sega confirms that Roger Craig Smith will no longer be the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. He's been doing the voice for the last 10 years. And he's also been in Code Geass and
is that how you say that? I've always said Geass.
Code Geass. I don't know. I don't really care.
When you said Code Geass, I went yonk yonk in my brain hole.
Cavalry of the Iron Fortress. But yeah, he wrote on Twitter that he was going to be departing, and he will no longer play Sonic the Hedgehog. Apparently, he's done the following games: Lego Dimensions, Mario and Sonic, Mario and Sonic, Mario and Sonic, Mario and Sonic, all of the Mario and Sonics, Puyo Tetris, Sonic and All-Stars Racing, Sonic Colors, Sonic Forces, Sonic Freeriders, Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Spinball, Super Smash Bros., Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Team Sonic Racing. Which,
lots of Sonic.
My opinion is bring back Jaleel White. Make Sonic Jaleel again. Or make Jaleel Sonic again. I want to see Mr. Original 90s cartoon Sonic voice come back.
I'm okay with any of them because they all seem to do a decent job. My son loves the Sonic movies, and that Sonic voice was okay. fine.
Jaleel White was such a good Sonic. I love
But
him.
there's
Y'all wanna chill it out?
reasoning why
No?
this voice actor quit, but I hope that he's on to bigger and better things.
Maybe he got too expensive because he's been doing the role for so long. I don't know. They want to find someone
Possibly.
cheaper. Who knows?
Who knows? Whatever it was, it must have been private. Our next news story is also a short one, and it's Mobile
Suit Gundam.
Yes, their franchise gets a new arcade card game in 2021. I like card games. I like arcade games.
But do you like card games on motorcycles?
And with Mobile Suit Mechs,
That sounds amazing. And number one, Japan has a lot of these amazing card game arcade machines where you get to actually place the cards on a field and you get to see your characters pop up, and it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! It's pretty freaking amazing. Like, the way they do it is so cool, and I'm so jealous because we got nothing like that.
I'm a big Magic fan, so I know it just added more nerdiness to me, but they don't have a lot of details right now. It's going to be debuted in March. Bandai Card Division opened a teaser website on Thursday for a new real-time strategy arcade. It's a real-time strategy arcade card game. In the Mobile Suit Gundam series titled Mobile Suit Gundam Arsenal Base. The website released a silhouette of the arcade cabinet and an image of Strike Gundam. The game is scheduled to launch in 2021. The website will reveal more detailed game information in early March. That's all we got.
But we'll never get to play it, so that's kind of sad.
We might.
Hi, Missy.
Hello.
No, it's never coming to America. Otherwise they would have brought the Dragon Ball Z one, the Yu-Gi-Oh one, and like all the other ones they have. It's never coming to America. I'm sad. What did come to America though?
Naysayer, what's our next news story?
Doraemon, Nobita's Little Star Wars. 2021 film delayed due to Voldemort. So, yes.
Just messing everything up.
Yep, the official website for the Doraemon Nobita Little Star Wars 2021 anime film revealed on Friday that the film is delayed to an unspecified date due to the new Voldemort disease. The film was previously slated to open up on March 5th. All advanced screenings are also canceled. Furyu also revealed on Friday that its Nintendo Switch game, based on the anime film, is also delayed to an unspecified date. The party game was originally scheduled for release on March 5th alongside the film.
And it's a 41st
film.
See, you did it too!
You messed me up. Yeah, 41st film in the Doraemon franchise.
And I have never seen any Doraemon, but the film is a remake of the 1985 Doraemon film of the same title. A key animator,
Makes sense.
Sushimu Yamaguchi, a key animator of many previous Doraemon movies, unit director of this movie, the Nobuta's Chronicle of the Moon Exploration, and the director of Mobile Suit
Gundam Age,
is directing this new film. And there's a bunch of other script writers and everything that are have a pretty good track record with them.
Dai Sato from Eureka 7, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, and Listeners. All good shows.
So it should be good. You know, if you're into Doraemon. If you're a long time fan,
a lot of people in Japan are.
Let us know in the comments.
Doraemon also has amazing little corn puff snacks. Those are delicious.
I've never had them.
They are good. Get the barbecue one. Oh, so good. Or teriyaki.
I've never even seen them.
Don't get the shrimp one. It's disgusting.
Okay. Anyway, Super Robot Wars X in Omega. I was going to say Infinity, but that's not the Infinity symbol. It's the Omega. Smartphone game and servers on March 30th. I know nothing about this smartphone game, but it seems to have been going for a bunch of years and has a good following on it. The official website for Bandai Namco's entertainment Super Robot Wars X Infinity smartphone game announced on Friday that the game will end service on March 30th. An offline version of the game will then be available till June 30th. Sales of in-game Omega Crystal currency will halt on February 26th.
We're gonna end it June 30th, but you can continue to buy our in-game currency till February 26th.
I guess. I mean,
gotta get that last little bit of money in.
Yeah, it was released. They released a smartphone game on iOS and Android devices in October 2015. This robot action RPG features a crossover story with new scenarios written just for the game. The game features characters in mecha from more than 50 works, and also features original characters in mecha, which is super cool.
Yes.
50 different things, but they're shutting it down.
Yep, it's getting shut down, and who knows what will happen next.
Who knows? They've had characters such as Mega Man, Crayon Shin-Chan, Eureka 7, Armored Trooper Votoms, Overman, King Gainer, UFO Robot Grenadier, Evangelion, Machine Robo,
2.0,
Evangelion's
Mobile Fighter G Gundam, Geta Robo G, and the Idol Master.
Robot Girl Z, World Galliant, Galaxy Angel. There's a bunch. There's a bunch. But
there is.
They're shutting it down.
They are shutting it down.
So if you guys know why, hit us up in the comments. If not, may it rest in peace, effing chat, boys. What's our next news story, DC?
So, Hell's Paradise Jigokuraku gets a TV anime adaptation. It is a dark fantasy anime. Hell's Paradise Jigokuraku is set to receive a TV anime adaptation. The announcement came out just as the manga reached its final chapter in Shonen Jump Plus on January 25th. Set at the end of the Edo era, the series follows superhuman ninja Gabimaru after a friend's betrayal leads him to be arrested. He is ordered to retrieve the elixir of life in exchange for pardon for his crimes. That sounds really interesting and fun.
Sure.
I like Edo period stuff.
Why not?
And I like ninjas.
The manga's art style.
Yeah, the art looks really good. I hope the anime does it justice. I'm curious about it. It's a dark fantasy, so sign me up.
Yeah. Remember, you guys can see all of these news stories and more in our Discord, which I'm sure Nightbot will pop up with that link for you at any time. And
it'll pop up. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, it'll be there. And then you should join, and you could be in the Discord with us, and you can chat with us. And rumors has it we might have some events planned in the future.
Also, let us know your thoughts on the news stories in the comments. And do you think Jaleel White should come back for Sonic? Yes, no. Why not?
Or if you're like me and you're like, yeah, that's fine, or whatever, cool. Because it's Sonic. He doesn't. Yes. There's a lot of people that can sound like Sonic.
The answer is yes.
We are going to move right on into our topic today. And our topic of the day is Isekai Anime. Have we gone too far? For those of you that don't know, Isekai means literally different or other world. It's about anime like, Digimon or Sword Art Online.
I thought the topic was, are we done?
Oh, have we gone too far? That's what I have in my notes. It's also, are we done?
Are we done?
That's probably what it is, and I just probably wrote the wrong thing in my notes, but it's fine.
I think you did, because on my schedule, I got, are we done?
Look, you're probably right. Anyway, and No Game No Life, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Rising of the Shield Hero, Spirited Away, Inuyasha, and then there's also reverse isekai, which are pretty much the same thing, but instead of one character going to a magical land, it's a magical character coming to a normal land, such as The Devil's a Part-Timer, Mishikawa Yoshi's Dragon Maid. Bleach is both an isekai and a reverse isekai, apparently.
That doesn't make any sense because it's not really an isekai.
But it's listed. I've looked at. I did so much research.
Supernatural.
They go it is. It is very based though, because Rukia comes to the real world, and then they fight bad guys there, and then they also go to the Soul Society. So it's kind of an isekai. It's just like the Matrix is an isekai.
Hold on. Okay. By definition, it says that revolve around a normal person from Earth being displaced, transported to, reborn, or otherwise trapped in a parallel universe, fantasy world, or virtual world. Where that's not really Bleach. So I don't know. It seems like the list was just going really broad with its definition of isekai.
Well, So you wouldn't call Miss Kapayoshi's Dragon Maid or The Devil is a Part-Timer of reverse isekai?
I would, well, if they're reborn in that human world, then yeah, it would
They
be a
don't have to
reverse
be
isekai.
reborn, they can just travel.
Or
Digimon
yeah,
is an isekai.
like it said, trapped, reborn, or whatever.
Digimon's considered an isekai, but they freely can go back and, well, not always. Sometimes
That's
there's a
not,
whole
yeah, that
workshop
isn't.
here, but
See, the problem
some
is when you can go
seasons
back
they
and
can
forth,
freely.
it's not really an isekai anymore. It's just a fantasy or
Is it?
something. Yeah,
I think
there's
that's
it. Not
I think that's
everything that
spreading it a little
has.
bit fine there.
Not really. I'm just going by the basic definition of what an
This was
isekai is.
also a basic definition of what isekai is.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
right here though.
well, go ahead, look up the
displaced,
term
transported.
reverse isekai.
I'm just looking at
and
isekai.
type in, is Bleach an isekai? Because I didn't believe it at first either. And it is. Anyway.
Alright, how about I just look up Bleach genre?
And sometimes, there is sometimes a back and forth according to the website and definition I was looking on, which was the Wikipedia article. And they have to learn, and see, it's
Never
easier
trust
for... Anyway, and then what would you consider an accredited news source for anime definitions?
It's really an interesting conundrum, isn't it? Whatever the official thing is listed as.
More like whatever you agree with. Moving on.
What is Bleach listed as? Is my only question.
It's an isekai. Anyway, well, it's not only an isekai. There can be more than one genre for an anime.
From my look, it's action, adventure, occult fiction, animation, thriller, and sci-fi, and
Bleach
supernatural.
And isekai. Gigaco on Twitter says Bleach is an isekai, and that's just one
person on Twitter.
I just
said
on
that's
Twitter. One person's opinion.
Are we gonna?
If you look at the Wikipedia right here, and I'll send you the link later, it lists Bleach as an isekai. Anyway,
I'm
moving
looking
on.
at Bleach's Wikipedia, which does not list it as an isekai.
Moving on. Why is it so popular though? We see a lot of isekai animes, a lot of them, and one of the reasons is because it's easier to introduce a viewer to this new world if you learn about it as the main character does. That's so as the main character learns, they can just kind of take you side by side with the character and like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Excellent. And and it's easier world building, easier storytelling, but is it good? And where did isekai start?
I mean, is it good? Is basically just a loaded question because the answer is yeah, depends who you're talking to. It also depends on the isekai. Like some of them can be really good, and some of them can just be overdone and boring.
A lot of them are actually based on old teen fiction or pulp fiction, which I actually found out that it was called pulp fiction because back in the time when the term was coined, it was because the cheap wood pulp used to make the mass market books. I found that.
Well, it's also like a lot of isekais are based off of light novels, which if you guys don't know what a light novel is, light novels are basically just like online novels that can be written by chapters. Yeah, I'm just saying what they're written by they're chapter by chapter used most of the time. It's like a manga, but a book.
But you see, the market, this was very interesting because the market was flooded because SAO had such a massive success. It was started out as self-published web novels. And other ones have done that too. Like that time I got reincarnated as the slime, ReZero, Rise of the Shield Hero.
Like I said, a lot of them started as the definitely the self-published light novels. We moved into it was sort of a lot of fan fiction too, in a way, where people saw this and they wanted to create their own version of it. And it's weird because technically .hack came first, and .hack is sort of like the same concept. A bunch of people actually get literally trapped into a video game world and they're unable to get out. And yet we didn't see the surge with .hack, despite .hack having how many series?
A lot.
But yeah,
there's a lot of people that are fans of it, but it wasn't the same massive surge. But see, it makes a loop because if the things are popular, there's more of them, and then more fans, and then more isekai.
Sort of like how you see YouTube trends. The moment like someone does something and it gets popular, everyone jumps on that trend, and that's what we're seeing with like isekais. So you have two very different questions. the "Are we done yet?" and "Is it overdone?" are two very different questions with, I think, very different answers. Because for the answer to the question of "Are we overdone?" Have we overdone isekais? I really think is a yes. I I I
For
think,
the
like,
standard isekai formula, it is. It is overdone. It's
yeah,
just like
well,
whenever I hear an announcement for a new isekai, I roll my eyes and go, "A new
well,
isekai," but it could be
here's
good. But it
yeah, well,
could.
like I really liked Soma Spider So What. That was pretty fun.
I
But
like
like
reincarnated as a slime, so I like
but
that
like my point is that usually nowadays, every time you see like new seasons of animes being announced, there's like 3 or 4 isekai on the list.
one. Yeah.
And it's getting a little ridiculous. Like we're
But what
getting to
it
the
comes
point of
down to is a lot of times publishers and studios want money makers, and isekai makes money. People are
yeah,
watching
well,
isekai, people indulge
that's
in isekai,
that's
and
sort of a catch-22 though. Like they're indulging in it because there's so much of it, and there's so much of it because they're indulging in it. But people also probably just like those stories in general and would have liked them as just a fantasy world instead of an isekai. It could have just been a fantasy world and been fine.
yeah, and then there's you also sometimes people make more money on the manga and light novels than they do on the anime themselves.
Yeah. And
And then some anime series won't just end the anime either. They want it to keep going, so you keep buying and keep indulging
yeah,
and keep
and
spending money.
let's be
So
honest here though. There is one
in my
real
notes, I
key.
have "so blame Sword Art Online" underlined,
I
just so
don't
you
blame
know.
Sword Out Online. I blame people in general. And the reason why I say that is the fish out of water story. That is the most basic, like, storytelling device there is. Fish out of water. And it's also one of the most basic comedy principles. Like, if you guys know anything about comedy, there's two ideas, which is a normal person in a crazy world or a crazy person in a normal world. Those are the two things you get, and with an isekai, that allows, like, most of them are comedy based because you have a normal human being coming into the strange fantasy world, and you can be as weird and wacky as you want, or you can make it a super serious one with the human being like, "Oh, it's a video game," and being weird and
Well, look at
wacky.
SAO, which I'm going to use a lot because that was like the one that caused our recent spike in isekai. It was not like, yeah, it has. I have only seen season 1 and season 2 of SAO to clarify, but it's never really been a comedy. It has its funny moments, but it's a very serious toned action adventure
Well,
anime.
but that's really not what we're seeing out of a lot of isekais lately.
Mm-mm.
Lately, they're all funny
Well, they're
ha-has.
becoming self-aware. They're making fun of
Yeah,
themselves. They know
yeah,
that it's
and
goofy.
that's sort of like it's sort of like the music industry. You know, when look at like have you seen that video "Every Country Song's the Same"?
Mm-mm.
This dude took like 13 country songs and mashed them all together to make one song. And the point was is that they all sound so similar, you can't tell that they're different,
I've
and they
seen things
worked.
like that, though. I've seen
Yeah,
things like that.
and
Well,
that's sort of like what we're seeing with isekais is the fact
well,
that that's what it is. It just got
we can also examine why, because there's like a self-insertion element into it as well, like a reader X whoever fanfic or novel that that you kind of people can easily put themselves in an isekai anime in their mind's eye because it's like, oh well, if that
well,
person just jumped in, I can too. And then there's also video game cultures with the isekai as well. A lot of them are like video game based, or like for that time I was reincarnated as a slime. The person is literally reincarnated into the world, but he thinks of everything as video game, and so like he sees everything as like video game stats and stuff like that. So there's a lot of video game culture in it as well.
that's sort of like what's the name of that anime? Overlord. Overlord and How Not to Summon a Demon Lord are similar.
Mm-hmm.
They end up as their characters from a video game in a world that's similar to the video game, but it's the real world for them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also the power fantasy element of it, where you have a lot of the isekais have that overpowered main character,
Mm-hmm.
or the main character is really special and has this one super unique trait, which is what I'm a Spider So What made fun of, the appraise trait that's usually super broken, and they made fun of it by making it almost completely worthless.
Oh well. Poor spider. Well, there's a bunch
Yeah.
of there's other examples of isekai type things like The Matrix, Narnia, the World of Narnia books and series, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland. They all have that same, and those are all very popular franchises, and they're not even anime. They have that same like we take this and go there like kind of thing to it. And I think a lot of it is that people are really bored with the natural. I know I am. I don't like watching or reading things that are not fantasy or science fiction or anything like that. It's that they're bored with the real life. And it's just like, well, what if I, as I am, could go do this thing and be that person and that hero? And yeah, it's a power fantasy, but I think it's more of like a thirst for adventure and the wonder of, and it makes it very interesting to viewers and readers. But so, what actually makes a good isekai? Because there are good isekai.
Bio says isekai isn't my favorite genre of anime. Yeah, no, it's not my favorite either, and that's why I will definitely argue that I think isekai itself needs to have it needs to have a set definition, or you become so broad that anything that involves moving between worlds can be an isekai. Dragon Ball Z would be an isekai by argument because Goku goes to Hiffle and the other world, even
There
though
could be
it's
parts of it that are,
but it's really not. It's really not because it's not the same concept. But I think what makes a good
but the
one,
literal definition of isekai is another world or other world.
again, you are making it a very broad category
I'm just
where,
saying, it's a literal definition of it.
or we go with like I said, it's a person reborn or trapped in a parallel universe or being transported there. The point would be a parallel universe rather than a universe that just already exists in that world. Like, you have a fantasy world, and that's different from having an isekai. Like, if a person dies in the fantasy world and was reborn in the fantasy world, it's just rebirth anime. There's all sorts of different genres and different subgenres, and it gets crazy. But I think, like, what makes a good isekai starts at what is the core story. Like, if we look at Rise of the Shield Hero, the core story is 4 heroes are summoned to save the world, and the shield hero kind of has to deal with being othered and being rejected and being like screwed over at every turn. And that's sort of like, you can, as like a lot of nerds do feel, you can feel outcasted, and you can relate to that, and you can see that character's struggles, and that sort of kind of makes a good story. You're relating to the struggles of this character, you want to see them succeed. And then there's like, it all depends on what is it you want out of this anime. Do you want a power fantasy? Do you want to see characters struggle and grow, or do you want to watch a comedy?
Yeah, I think a lot of times the good isekai is like, yeah, you can have the power of fantasy a little. You want to see you want it for a good story to happen. It's got to keep you invested, and it's got to have like, well, a believable. Like, we want to see the character struggle and fight and get better to an extent.
I think
But
that's an interesting question though, isn't it? Because then you have One Punch Man, which completely
exactly,
defies all
but
that.
One Punch Man is amazing because the way
Yeah,
they wrote it. So it's just
they've
it
written
comes
it
down
so
to the way
well.
they handle the story.
Yeah, you can have any of those elements, but what really makes it good is just how is that story handled? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if a lot of isekais really handle their stories that well. Sometimes they can get a little like, I don't know,
Well, I also think humor and originality make if it's going to be humorous, make it like humorous. If it's going to be serious, still got to have a little bit of humor in there. Give me a chuckle
Yeah,
now and then. But originality and how it's handled is like the most important thing for me.
yeah, that's like kind of what I was talking about with the last or the first episode of Dr. Ramune, Dr. Beverage, was like, you gotta, there's a line that you don't cross between humor and seriousness. And if you want a moment to be serious, you can't make it too bizarre. And that's sort of like what you're saying is, if it's going to be serious, you need to be serious, but you can have those moments of comedy, like Jujutsu Kaisen, it took its serious moments serious and its comedy moments comedic.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it, is it knew what to do with each situation. And there's a lot of really cool ideas in isekais, I think. A lot of them have a really cool idea. Like like if you take That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime, I'm a Spider, So What? That's sort of the idea of like a normal person being reincarnated as a monster. And they're
Yes.
usually
They kind of take the genre that you understand and know, and they don't
Yeah.
flip it on its head, because that'd be a reverse isekai by definition, but they kind of just twist it around a little bit. And I found it very, very interesting. And it's, once again, how they handle it. I haven't seen I'm a Spider, So What? But I imagine it's a similar thing.
Yeah,
To
it's fun.
it's a humor. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's of this small monster creature having to try to figure out how life in a world where it's not really meant to be sentient. So
Yeah. There was
and that was it. I've seen a lot of people like these animes, and so that would be a good, of course it's up to your own opinion, but a good. And the thing is, the characters. I need good characters to care about a guy.
Yeah, your main character can't be too much of like one thing. Like they can't be too powerful. They can't be too arrogant. They can't be too, crazy, cuz then you start to get into like you can't connect with them levels where if your characters are too crazy, you're not following them.
Yeah, exactly. And then, because, like, let's be real, there's more bad isekais than there are good ones. There are literally hundreds of isekais. I actually sat down and I tried to figure out how many isekais there were, and I gave up, like, somewhere in the 80s. I'm like, no, there's just a lot of isekais.
Yeah. So that's where it's like when we come to the question again, is it overdone? The answer is God, yes. God, yes, it's overdone. When you're getting 3 to 4 isekais, new isekais a season, sometimes it's too much.
Yeah, well, yes, I do agree with you. I'm gonna flip the other coin for a minute. We have so many dramas. We have so many shonen or seinen animes, and it's just like shonen after shonen or seinen after seinen or all these other kind of animes. We get a lot of them as well. Are we done with those?
Well, the thing is that you can't just say shonen, because shonen by itself is a broad genre.
Yes,
Shonen's
isekai is as well, though. I mean,
not as
yes, there's a
much.
similar concept.
You're making isekais more broad than they really are. I'm
But
talking
it
like
is. One
it's
character
really
from
not.
this world goes to another world. That's the basic premise of an isekai.
Yes, but again, the other premise is sent there, trapped there. They are stuck in that world. They're not
Bio
coming
in
back.
chat says the problem with isekai is their ideas are getting stretched and way overdone. Yes, I will agree with you there.
That's why they're getting overdone. I was just gonna say my point as to why you can't compare it to shonen or seinen is that within those two genres are fantasy, space, pirate, ninja. Like you have One Piece and Naruto are not nearly the same thing.
Not at all.
And yet they're both shonen. And like you can't compare like Dragon Ball Z to Full Metal Alchemist, but they're both shonen.
You can't compare Digimon to SAO. You can't compare, because it is a broad thing.
See,
and by your own argument, by definition, we talked about shonen animes before. Shonen anime is pretty much a young boy protagonist goes on an adventure. That is pretty much a shonen anime. It's an action anime. Isekai is pretty much otherworld adventure.
So it's the same thing.
Similar. Yes, it's similar. But it's just
this is the problem with boiling terms down. This is what's problem with boiling terms down, is you make it so broad that there's no distinction anymore. Where are we standing when we go with a young boy goes on an adventure? There's tons of isekais like that.
I'm just saying that's they have. That's why they mix genres. It can be shonen, isekai, sci-fi, drama, and then that.
You don't see any of those though.
I
That's the
Come
problem.
on, you know I was using
You
an
don't see
example.
you don't see space isekais. You don't see any dude that gets sent to a world that's a space adventure for some reason. It's
I'm
always a
sure
fantasy
there's-
or a video game world.
I'm sure there's one out there somewhere.
I don't think there
I'm-
is, and
I'm
I think
sure.
that's one of the problems is
And
that
see, yeah, that's what I was trying to get to, is the fact that they're just kind of staying in the realm of fantasy and video games, and they're not branching out. Let's go to
there's a-
space. Let's have a normal human being
or
get yoked into hell and see what happens. Or, you know what I
Ken
mean?
already had
Like,
that.
did they?
Like
What they?
we had a normal human being goes to space. That's the Tenchi Muyo series.
Oh,
But that's not an
Right.
isekai. That's all the same universe. I'm talking like there's that's what's great about stories in general. Is there's a lot of genres and a lot of things to explore, and I think that making something an isekai when it doesn't need to be would cheapen the experience. Like I think a lot of isekais could have just been really good fantasy worlds. That would have been fun. It would have been fun just to have a really cool fantasy world. It doesn't need to have that human from Earth character in it. Like that doesn't really necessarily add anything to the story.
But I'm going to harken back to ye old argument that if it works and it makes money, they're going to keep doing it.
That
So-
doesn't mean it's good. Like again, my argument comes
Then
back to like
quit
the
watching
music I'm
it.
interested in.
Quit buying the manga.
I don't.
I'm not
I
saying
don't.
you. If people want to be done with
Well-
isekai, then they need to stop indulging in isekai.
Here's the problem with your argument though, is that people don't want it to be done. The those of us that don't want it to keep going, we're already not watching it. See my point? It kind of falls.
I only want to watch it as that time I was reincarnated as a slime, honestly, and I'm waiting for that to be completed.
I'm tired of DLC, but there's a lot of people out there that'll still blow their money on DLCs, and it's never going to end because they're willing to do it, and you can't stop that. You can't stop people. The people want it, so they're going to do it, even if you disagree with it. Just like, I mean, all rock music has started to become the same thing. You know, we got into like pop music, all became the same thing. It's so hard to like tell anymore because they all sound the same. It's like they're all about the same stuff. And that's because that's what sells. So we're going to pump that out. Look at Hollywood. We're going to pump out the same action schlock because that's what sells. And that's what isekais are. It's the same. Got to pump that out. That's what sells.
That's why there's Fast and Furious like 15 or some nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's also why there was so many Transformers movies, despite the Transformers movies being objectionably terrible films.
I like,
but they have. Okay, see, the argument though there is that you like the first one, and the explosions and stuff are fun in it, right? It's like, ooh, fun. But then it like gets to the
Bumblebee's
second,
cute.
the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and you're like,
watching after this third, you know.
You see, because it just became the same kind of routine. Robots, explosions, cities destroyed. Ultron wants the something or other. Megatron's gonna do some crap. You don't know. Like, it's the same stuff. I'm just watching giant robots fight and explode.
But isn't that a lot of the case with, especially like long-running animes? What's Naruto gonna do? He's gonna fight some ninjas. Are they gonna save the ninja world? You know, so that's you could say that argument in a lot of instances. I know what you're saying.
I'm gonna debate you on that one.
I'm gonna zoom out on that.
I'm gonna debate you on that one because again, we're broadening that definition. I'm narrowing in. I'm keeping my definition a little narrow. Like. Again,
not everybody wants narrow things.
Yeah, but that's how we are able to discuss something without getting into super broad semantic terms where everything just sort of becomes gray and muddled.
Okay. What makes a bad isekai then?
Let's see. Overdone tropes.
Tropes and cliches.
Overdone tropes. Like
what about harems? Harems are bad. Let's be real. Harems are bad.
Debatable. I will debate that. They can be done well.
It can be. That time I was reincarnated as a slime kind of gets a little harem-y, and it's like,
let's talk the one problem with harems. It depends on why the girls are interested or why the guys are interested. That's where the issue comes in. Like,
I'm gonna use a reference for a decent harem. I never finished the anime because it was back when I was first started watching anime. It was Love Hina. was way back when I first started watching anime. Older one, pretty much a guy, I don't remember 100%. If I'm wrong, someone slap me in chat. A guy goes and lives at like a bathhouse and he works there, and everybody else there is high school girls. And so, yeah, and most of them actually hate him. Yeah, it's a harem anime, but it was a comedy.
It's weird. And that's where,
but
like,
that's not an isekai, though, so.
Yeah, no. But some isekais have those elements, and they don't really, I don't know, sometimes they just feel like the people are interested in the main character because they're the main character.
Okay, Chase, I've seen you in chat. We've been talking about the definition of an isekai for 10 minutes. Well, yeah, okay. But anyway. Chase, what is your favorite isekai, Chase? Tell us what your... All of you, tell us what your favorite isekai is in chat or in the comments down below.
Rise of the Shield Hero. Rise of the Shield Hero is mine. And I like it because the story is actually really good. You know, it does deal with some really hard topics. It deals with...
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard it's good.
It deals with, like, there's, like, beast people, and people, like, treat them as, like, slaves and animals, and, like, the Shield Hero doesn't really like that.
Jobless reincarnation. I have never heard of that. And Bio in chat says Ouran High School Host Club is a reverse harem anime. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I think, like...
We're not talking about harem state. Maybe another day.
I think a harem can really destroy an isekai because if they don't have, like... If the main character doesn't really show any good traits, like... There's sometimes you'll get, like, a blank slate character that are designed... Like, Harry Potter is kind of like a blank slate character.
Yeah,
he doesn't really have a personality.
I brought up harem for a reason, though. It's because a lot of isekais go harem because it's, once again, it goes into that fantasy what the viewers want to see.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to another world and become a bad butt character, you're also going to want a lot of chicks. And they need to be hot chicks. Or dudes. Whatever. But, that's why I brought up it, because that kind of makes it... It's very cringe when it goes into the realm of the harem. Yeah. If it's not done right, it's just a trope, a cliche, it's a bad...
Yeah, there's, like, the overpowered...
I don't know what that is, Chase. And Jobless Reincarnation is your favorite. I don't know what that is either. I'm sorry.
The overpowered main character, if it's not done right, it also gets really boring because it removes the threat. There's not really, like, a sense of danger anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really, like... There's nothing for the main character to, like, overcome. So you're just kind of sitting there like, why do I care? You're gonna beat it. Oh, look, he didn't get hurt throughout the entire fight against this horribly evil person. Yay.
Yeah, but as we're kind of BSing about, it's like then the formula for One Punch is well done because you are still invested even though he's going to win. Like,
yeah, it's because you're more...
It's how you handle it.
Saitama's going to save the day. The problem is you don't know if the side characters that are fighting the monster before he shows up are going to live, because you don't know what's going to happen to them. Saitama will be fine, but the side characters, you're like, they're the ones that are doing most of the fighting. Saitama's
the bicycle hero.
Oh yeah, no. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, is he going to die? No, come on. And he gets the snot beat out of him, and he just...
It's like the Cabbages Man in Avatar. You just know it's going to happen. But look...
Licenseless writer. Yes.
Merman, whatever his writer name is. Momin, thank you, Chase in chat.
He's a licenseless writer. I love his name.
Whatever it is, it's funny. But okay, like...
Prisoner, yeah.
My favorite isekai, thank you guys so much for asking. That's kind of a difficult one because there's many that are well done. As you guys can tell, my favorite genre is shonen. Shonen. But I happen to like Digimon. It's one I reference a lot because it's one of my first anime loves. It really is. I know it's silly, and I cannot wait for the dub of the new Digimon Adventure because I'm really hoping they use I could watch it sub. That's fine. But I want the nostalgia of hearing the same voice actors or close to the same voice actors like they did on Digimon Try when they did the new movies. Those were really good. But I also enjoyed that time I was reincarnated as a slime, but I haven't finished it yet. And not to be tropey, but I enjoyed the first season of SAO. I guess I'm part of the problem.
I still haven't seen it.
But it was a lot of people didn't like the second season. It was all right. The second season wasn't bad. It could have been better, but it wasn't bad. So, you know. But, I don't know, do you really think that there wouldn't be a void left behind if Isekai animes just disappeared? Just stopped?
So here's the thing. Do you know the phrase "power abhors a vacuum"?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's sort of the same thing with if isekais just stopped, something else will fill that void. We don't know what, because like think about it. Like I mean, trends just come and go all the time.
Yeah.
For a while, people thought it was cool to wear Heelys, and now no one does. So
yeah. I do remember the Heelys trend.
Exactly.
I remember the fidget spinners trend.
That died real fast. That one came and went. That trend died just as a bunch of companies got on the mass-produced fidget spinners train, and that was funny.
There were so many fidget spinners everywhere, and kids were like, "Those are dumb now."
I know, it's great. So yeah, everything has a trend, and I think we're about to hit the bubble, like the isekai max size bubble pop, because it's starting to become so oversaturated, and something's got to fill the void. And personally, I hope it's space stuff. I'd like to see some more space stuff. I don't see enough space anime.
I mean,
that was like the big '90s thing was space anime.
Yeah, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop.
Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah. There was a lot of them, and who knows? They could make a return. Sorry,
yeah, we don't know. Martial arts anime could be the next thing. Still wouldn't be against that either. I like martial arts stuff, but I'm just
gotta be done good.
Magical Girls was overdone for a while too.
That was a big thing in like '90s, early 2000s. Magical Girl.
The magical girl trope was like Cardcaptor Sakura, Sailor Moon. God, there was a bunch of them.
Just
but
so
yeah,
right now, but that one was twisted. That one was different.
So right now we're in the big isekai bubble. We're in the big isekai trend, and something's gonna come along at some point. I don't know when, because with trends, I'm not that person that like sits there and monitors trends. That's a job that people actually do. That's what their job is. They monitor trends. And I'm not the person that does that, so I can't tell you when it's going to end.
I don't know. I'm kind of seeing that there might be a trend in webtoons and other
webtoons
online various medias, differing medias that are becoming like, look at God of High School.
Yeah, webtoons are definitely starting to get into the uptick, which is sad for me just because I don't like the format of a webtoon. I prefer the format of like a manga or a comic book.
Can I have my fish boys make it to an anime, Castle Swimmer? Do I have any Castle Swimmer fans out there? Somebody, please. Tell me I'm not the only one.
Chase says light novels, and that's what a lot of the isekais are. A lot of the isekais are light novels. Rise of the Shield Hero was a light novel. That Time I Was Reincarnated as Slime, I think, was actually a light novel, but a lot of these isekais were light novels.
Another was a light novel series.
Exactly.
Just one.
Yeah, and so yeah, light novels are a big thing right now, and just most of them just happen to be fantasy-based isekais. And who knows? It might become like light novels might become really huge, the next huge big thing. And we'll see what happens. But
who knows? Maybe somebody who's watching this right now is going to go write the next big series. Who knows?
As it stands, though, I'll state: is there too many? Yes. Are we done yet? I don't think so.
I would like to see more original ones. I would like to see different. Like, I wouldn't mind an isekai popping up here and there in the future years, but not so many, not so tropey, not so cliche.
I would like it if it wasn't all video games that feature elves and slimes, like the same thing over and over and over and over, like the basic D&D tropes. Like, give me something new. Give me some new creatures.
Give us some new spicy content. And if you're not going to give us some spice,
bear people. Throw in some bear people.
That's like a furry.
It would be interesting, at least. It would be new, like an isekai.
Bio in chat says, I just have more anime I want to watch than the same stuff over and over. I like a little flavor in anime. Yeah.
Exactly. But like for you, Angels, imagine like a world where a regular human dude is sent to the world of Beastars.
That would be interesting.
See, it would be an interesting mix. You'd just be like, wow, this guy is not going to enjoy his life.
What the heck is that? And he's not going to last long. But, well, I don't know.
That'd be an interesting isekai. I'd be down for that.
Isekai, the people in Beastars, they, well, if you can call them people, they are civilized for the most part.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's just, it would be really weird for a human to have to adjust to that world.
Yes,
because it's so
baby.
similar.
Legoshi would probably adopt the stray human and keep it as a pet in his bedroom and just take care of it.
Well, like it's very similar to our world, so it would kind of mesh, but you would be looked at so weirdly. And who knows, there might be some crazy carnivores that are interested in what you taste like.
Oh, look, minor spoilers for Beastars, but that human might end up in the market.
Yeah, see? It would be interesting.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I would prefer to see focus a little bit away from Isekai. I don't mind seeing more, but give us original, give us new, give us
maybe cut back the amount per season. Just a little bit.
Maybe a little less, as DC said, a little less. But anyway,
I'll pull it back a little bit.
Give us creativity and originality.
Yeah, that's
I think they should respect their fans a little bit more. Like, we'll just paint it a different color. No one will notice. No, we notice.
We'll paint it a different color, and then we'll mock the thing we're doing. And it's just like, you can't mock being an isekai. You're doing the isekai.
I mean, they have been, and we just praise the mocking the isekai animes, though.
Some can be done well, and some can be funny, but sometimes it's like, you can't just do the same tropes and then mock those tropes that you're doing.
Normally, I would tell y'all that it's time for Anime Club. I mean, it is time for Anime Club. And normally we would tell you that Anime Club happens in the Discord, but right now, it is still unfortunately suspended.
It is on pause for the foreseeable future.
Indeed. And we're going to start off with Dr. Remue.
You mean Dr. Beverage?
Dr. Beverage, I guess.
Dr. Beverage.
Yeah, look, you can have things can share names.
It's my Ramune.
Things can share names.
It's got Luffy on it. Never gonna avoid an episode.
Anyway, moving on.
As long as I'm on this cast, we're talking One Piece in some form or another.
Let's throw them out, guys. I'm just kidding.
Got it in twice.
Kidding. There's a lot of you that like One Piece. Anyway, Season 1, Episode 2 of Dr. Remue, Mysterious Disease Specialist, and it is...
Fish Cake Rooster.
The Chikua Fish Cake is the name of the episode. And let's be real. It's an episode about a man's body parts. Sensitive area, body parts. A rooster, a chicken.
His rooster becomes a Chikua Fish Cake.
Yeah.
Because he is you can't call him two-timing. What would you do? Seven timing? Is there a seven timing? Like, man, I think there's promiscuous, and then there's this guy. Like,
yeah, but
you got
do we even know his name? I just call him Fish Cake Dude most of the time. Kengo.
Katsuma Kengo.
And so when we start our episode, our doctor was rejected by a lady, and he's just like, Dr. Remue, he's like, I'm going to make myself more appealing, and then our dude walks in.
Well, I liked that Kuro was kind of like, did you get rejected, or did you just fall in love at first sight and then find out that she has a boyfriend?
Yeah, look.
And he's just like, it's the same thing!
Our doctor is an eccentric individual. He's very smart with occult and the other things, but not just with the life knowledge. Okay, at least so far. We've only seen 2 episodes, but
so anyway, we get Katsumi Kengo that comes in.
Referred to by the local hospital. A lot of hospitals actually. Yeah,
I think there've been like 4 or 5 hospitals.
Yeah, and so pretty much the doctor's like, let's have a look at it, and there's a little bit of funny there. And
his rooster is a fish cake.
Yep. The doctor looks, he's like very determinedly looking at it as well.
And then he laughs at him.
Yeah, he does laugh at him.
I found out what's wrong with the opening for me.
What's wrong with the opening for you?
It's just, the guitar and everything sounds a little muted and in the background. I think the mixing is off, just like a little bit. So it just sounds like the mixing is off a little bit, and it kind of like it doesn't hit. Like it should hit, it doesn't hit.
I just thought it sounded more like big band swing.
Well,
first, and,
that's where I usually like those, but I like them when you can hear. Yeah, no, Chase, it does hit different. It does hit different.
I'm not saying
this doesn't hit me in a way I like.
It doesn't bother me. It's just like, yeah, that's all right. It's all right for me.
The thing is that it doesn't hit me in the way that the opening to Death Parade hits me. You know,
Death Parade is very good.
That's an opening that hits you.
So the dude's 24, Katsuma Kingo, and he went to a bathroom to find his manhood had transformed.
Just keep
went to 5 hospitals. Then here. And it's a fish cake, all right, as you said before. It's impressive, says Dr. Rimue. And
fish cake.
Then we go into the thing where Doctor explains his work again. I'm not recapping that. We know what he do at this point.
Evil spirits.
The doctor's like, you have a good opportunity to change your bad habits. Your body's giving you a hint.
Yeah, and he's like, you know why this happened. The guy pretends he doesn't. Kuro notices that he's wearing a little ringy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then dude's like serious, like the doctor's like, hey, it's not that big of a problem. I mean, you can urinate, so
you have a hole there. Yeah.
There's a hole in it. You can. Sorry, I bet that sounded awful. If it works, then it's not that big of a problem. Dude's like, how would you like this attached to you, kind of thing. So, as you said, Rimuri already said you know why this happened, and he's like, okay, so the dude demands it's fixed. You already summarized that, so I had to skip a bunch, and it's fine because it was not that important. So anyway, the dude demands it fixed. The doctor's like, yeah, it depends on you. It could take a year. And the guy's like, nah, I need this done now. I'm gonna see my girl today. So yes, for a temporary fix.
Yes, so he gives him a cloth that hides stuff, but it hides stuff with lies, and he still offers it to the dude. He takes it, and he calls up his girls like, yo, we're still on for tonight. You want to go out? And it's kind of revealed that the cloth that hides stuff with lies has burned Dr. Beveridge's arm.
Mm-hmm. It's the lies will do damage, apparently.
So you get an idea as to what's gonna happen to that dude when he uses the cloth on his rooster.
The doctor's like, he'll be back.
He'll be back. Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he
so,
will.
Doctor and Kuro go out to eat, and they see there's like this little owl thing that apparently is one of Dr. Drink's
Dr. Beverage's, it's his pet.
It's the little owl, and it follows around one of those little tags watching our fish cake dude. Our fish cake dude. But anyway, so they go out to eat, and they see a pretty girl, and, he's like Dr. Mui just instantly falls for her again. And
yes, her name is Fujita.
Yes. There's this funny little thing where one of the other girls is like, are you still doing your exorcist work? He's like, I'm really not an exorcist.
Yeah, that's Fujita. That's like, are you still an exorcist? Because he's like, oh, Kuro's your assistant for exorcisms? He's like, I'm not an exorcist.
Yeah, it's very cute.
But Fujita!
And the doctor notices that the girl is wearing a ring.
A necklace with
a ring. Of course she is, yes.
And that's why he brought Kuro there, so Kuro could go talk to her about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
got it from a customer.
That's how Dr. Beveridge be.
Not a boyfriend. And finds out that it's a fish cake dude because she happens to have a picture of this customer on her phone.
Yeah.
She thinks he's cute, but she doesn't want to do anything serious because his smell.
He smells different every time, and a man that smells different every time you meet him is dangerous.
I guess.
And then they have a moment of Dr. Beveridge being like, I smell the same all the time. And she's like, yeah, you smell like incense. Ha-ha!
Anyway, so then we see
incense, man.
Yeah, incense. We see our fish cake dude out with his girl that he called at a hotel called Sleep Koala.
They're leaving a love hotel. They're leaving a love hotel. That's what it is. They pay by the hour. Yep.
He's got 7 rings. And he changes his rings. He says goodbye to one girl, changes his ring, says hello to another.
And he had to debate which one goes to which. And I'm like, that's why you don't juggle 2 girls. You're trying to juggle 7. You crazy. Also,
I mean,
you horrible person.
he is a very bad person.
It's no wonder your rooster turned into a fish cake. You are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for freedom of expression and even, like multiple partners, but everyone has to be involved in consenting, okay? Everyone has to.
If you'd all know about what's going on and you're all accepting of it, but like this ain't. He's like giving them the promise rings, like this ring says I will marry you, kind of thing.
Those, yeah. And Chase in chat says play on Ariana Grande 7 rings.
No, we don't want to get DMCA'd.
We won't. I just said it. I didn't hum anything this time.
It's
anyway,
fun to be at the DMCA.
Why MCA? Damn it. But
so
anyway, so the owl's still watching. Another girl shows up. He goes into the sleep hotel with her. How does this dude have so much virility? How can he? Because you know what they're doing in there. They're not playing patty cake. Okay, I'll tell you that much. They are not playing patty cake.
I don't know. If Who Framed Roger Rabbit taught me anything, it's that people who go behind their spouses' backs are playing patty cake.
Are they?
According to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Anyway.
So my notes are just
7 ladies, and Kuro thinks he's trash, and
my notes are just Love Hotel sleeps around, so his rooster's bad.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
So Kuro and Dr. Umue are like watching this through the thingy, and Kuro's like angry. He's like, "Yeah, he should lose the use of his lower body for that. That's bad."
That's what happens.
Doctor's like, his body's tired. He's trying to warn him.
Win stupid prizes.
Yeah. And the doctor's like, see, he deserves a little bit of pain. The cloth won't cure him.
Bad guys deserve pain.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we also get, like, Kengo is laying in bed, and he's thinking of Fujita.
He is.
He's thinking of Fujita.
Not that.
Fujita.
Anyway, we also see our dude out with the bros, and bros are teasing him because a girl slapped him because she found out.
It's like a flashbacky.
Yeah, and it's a waitress, and he thinks of her, and that's when he gives her the ring, and she bought him an ice pack, and it's cute, and it's ooh-woo. There's a connection there. Mm-hmm. So, and then he emerged to give her the ring, and then after she spilled a drink on him. Because that's how everybody meets their significant others, I guess.
That's how everybody in Japan meets a significant other. I don't know how many animes have done that. I can't count the number that have done that.
My drink has a lid on it. Will I never meet my significant other because I can't spill my drink on them?
Yes.
I mean, I'm actually married, but you know what.
You will never find your true love if your drink has a lid.
Well,
that's the rules of
anime. I'm clumsy, and I spill my drink everywhere, so I have to have a lid on it.
You either spill it on someone or you spill your food on someone. There are no other options.
Well, oh well. That's okay. And she's still not wearing the ring because it's not it's special. If she puts a ring on her hand, it's going to be a special thing, and she's not committed yet.
I kind of like the message. The message of this anime is like, nah, don't take marriage lightly.
Yeah,
that's kind of like, all right.
And yeah, it is. It does have a good because the girl's like, "Look, you're cute and all, but the only way I'll put on this ring is if it's serious."
You gotta. I mean, if you like it, you better put a ring on it, but you can't be putting a ring on everything. That's the rules.
No.
Also, Chase says, knowing angels, she would spill her drink even with a lid.
Hey, I had done that before. Shut up. Anyway. So he wakes up and it's a different girl, but he goes to have a potty break, and he's thinking of all the girls that he's going to see that day, and
of all the girls he's loved before.
Mm-hmm. And then he looks down at his fish cake, and it's not doing so well. It is
a rotten fish cake.
It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good.
Then we get.
I gotta say, if that's actual size, it's kind of impressive.
Then we get Dr. Beveridge's cooking lesson. Angels, this is a
Yes.
family-friendly program. I
It
have
was
to
an
avoid certain
impressive. It
conversations.
was an impressive fish cake. That's all I'm saying. If the fish cake was that big, it's impressive.
Jays, I'm not
Anyway.
going to answer that question. Anyways, so yes, we get the cooking lesson with Dr. Beverage,
Jeez,
who says,
nice.
like, we're going to teach you how to make chikua fish cakes, which was basically, I'll teach you to do it in 3 minutes. Take chikua batter, put it on a stick, done.
What's in the chikua batter? It's a secret.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So Kingo comes to kind of like, berate the Dr. Beverage, and Dr. Beverage explains that you pay a price for using that cloth, and the price is the accumulation of all the lies you've told. So that's what's happening. And pretty much he tells him it's gonna go, unless you bury your
rot
soul,
off.
that's gonna rot off. And you know
And
what?
you'll be
It might be
fine.
better. It might be better to live life without your rooster, because then you can focus on other pursuits.
You could actually find a woman to marry her for who she is, not for what you get out of it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, and yeah, you'll be fine. No more sleeping around. And
he's all like, "Hey, I'll do anything." And that's when the most horrible thing in history happens. Nope.
It is Dr. Movie. I'll handle this one. I got it. I see you, Chase. I got it. Doctor pulls a syringe out of his pants. He just and it's this massively long needle.
Stabs him in the rooster.
And he just stabs right through his pants. If he's wearing undies, right through those as well. Stabs him right in that rooster. I found it funny. I found it funny. And he stabs him right through it.
You're not a man. There's an extreme difference there.
That would still really hurt. I actually have had children, so there's been needles in tender places, and it hurts, but it's still funny, okay?
No, not if you're a man. It's not funny.
It's funny. Dude deserves it, okay? So anyway, and he jams the needle into his...
I agree he deserves it. It's just still... look, every man has sympathy pain for every other man in that instance, no matter how bad they are.
Dr. Lee pulls out some...
I wonder why!
Purple. Like, okay, I imagine it would not be that bad if Dr. Movie would have gloved up and medically inserted it properly, and, it would still be
I'm pretty sure it would have hurt still.
Just jamming it, like, through the pants, through the undies, like...
There's it goes into, like, it's not gonna go... the size of the needle, it's gonna hit like more than just the target.
It's gonna go all the way, man. He just but anyway, so he pulls out some goopies.
Which brings up an interesting question of how he just removed the curse. He could have done that to like the little girl and like, hey.
He can't just shove a needle into her eye and take out all the condiments.
We don't know that now, do we? The dude was fine, so I don't know. I don't know what the logic of this world is.
Anyway, he pulls it out, and then he injects the pink goop into the dude's hand. He transfers the curse from fish cake to fingy.
After he has him put all 7 rings onto his finger, and tells him that essentially your finger's going to rot and fall off unless you give all of the rings back and tell all of the girls what you've been doing.
Yep.
And how bad of a person you are.
Exactly. And they'll pop off one at a time, cure you eventually, and then the dude's like, I can't do that. And Doctor's like, well, then your finger will rot up, and it will just keep going.
Well, no, he just said that your finger will rot off, and he's like, so if you have any value for that, like, well, the doctor said, like, I wouldn't want that finger, because it's his left ring finger.
Yeah.
He's like, I wouldn't want that finger to fall off, but if you have any value for it, you won't either. It's like you can just let it fall off and you'll be fine.
Yep. And then the dude thinks of the waitress at this very moment.
No, I do gotta give props to him because he does decide to turn his life around. He does, and he gets the snot beat out of him. And he just accepts it. He like one girl's like, "Can I hit you?" And he's not even like, "No way." He's just kind of, yeah.
He goes, what? And then she just clocks him.
he kind of accepts he deserves it. At the very least, appreciate that he accepts he deserves it. Like, no, I deserve this.
And then I love the part where the doctor and Kuro are gonna go eat their fish cake, and they're like, nah.
Yeah, they're like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Nah, it took them like a while to let that event go away.
They're like, okay, we have to make it not look like fish cake, so they slice.
They try to slice it, and they still were like,
nah. They made them a little bit sick, but when they got over it, they enjoyed it. That was I skipped some stuff there. Apologies.
Yeah,
but
basically just Kingo goes to Fujita last, and she ends up giving the ring he gave her to him, and it's kind of implied that they're gonna maybe start seeing each other.
She's upset with him, but she's also happy that he told her the truth and didn't have any further expectations from her after telling her the truth. It wasn't like, hey, I'm a good guy, I told you the truth, now you want a bone? It wasn't like that.
She just was like, you smell better now.
She was like, okay, I get it. You're redeeming yourself. I'm going to give a possibility of giving you a chance in the future, kind of thing. And it was very cute.
Let's just avoid the end.
The end?
I did not like.
I'll handle it. I got this. Okay, it was there's after credit scene after the ending.
I can't family friendly the event.
I can do this. There is a gentleman following along after what appears to be a small child. The gentleman addresses the small child. The small child says that they have to use the restroom, and the gentleman, in a very unearthly and unsettling manner, says, "Don't worry, I will cover you so you may relieve yourself, protected from onlookers." And he's not like that. He's not valiant. It is very creepy. It's very clearly outlining the naughty badness of the guy's true intentions. And then
incredibly uncomfortable.
Very uncomfy. And then she just kicks the crap out of him.
Yeah. So then we get Ramune goes to a place where he meets Nico Ni, and we find out that the little girl is a grandma.
Yep.
She's a grandma. So we're doing that trope.
She's a grandma and Lolita. Is that the word? The correct usage?
She's got the old woman's
she's a Lolita
brain
grandma.
And a little girl's body.
She's a Lolita grandma.
It is Lolly Grandma.
Lolly Grandma. That's the next episode. Lolly Grandma next episode.
Then there's King's Avatar.
Season 1, episode 2. The Skilled
Master
Supervisor.
Network Manager.
What?
The Master Network Manager.
Is that the name of the episode you got? Because I got the Skilled Supervisor. That was
the official translation of my episode.
I just Googled it, and it said episode 2 is called The Skilled Supervisor, but it doesn't really matter.
What popped up on the screen for the episode itself when it said its title was The Master Network Manager.
Oh, mine was not translated. I was just, like, YouTube has them all. They all have them released on YouTube. That's why I've been watching them. They're all, Season 1 and Season 2 are released on YouTube. That's where I have been watching them. So, because that's where they put them. I don't know. Wherever you probably have other places. Anyway,
I got my places. I ain't outing myself. So cat fight. Douchey dude is dying, but who really cares?
Uncle Moon and Lord Grimm.
No one cares that he's dying. He's a horrible person. I mean, Grimm ain't any better. He did let those 3 newbies die.
Yeah,
just to prove a point to this guy. He's not a good person.
I mean, well, you're not wrong. I mean, but if he tried to intervene, would the newbies have even listened to him though?
Maybe. I mean, just maybe. He could have done something. Maybe them not dying, but I mean, it's just a game, so who really cares? There's no stake of them dying. Them dying means nothing. They just respawn.
Yeah, then quit complaining about it. Anyway, so we pick up where we left off. Uncle Moon and Lord Grimm fighting the Phantom Cat. Boss still got a lot of HP. He offers a team up, you know. And he's like, you can keep all the equipment and you get first pick. And Lord Grimm's like, nah, not for me. Lord Grimm watches as Uncle Moon's HP drains And he's like, we'll give you 60-20. I'm in a powerful guild. And he dies. Lord Grimm's just not having it. Just not. The cat kills him. And Lord Grimm gets a spear, umbrella, lance thing and fights.
That's just what his spear is.
It's an umbrella thing.
It turned into a hammer. A mace. Turned into a mace.
I don't know. And
that's what it is.
It beats it up. And then we see like an imagery of like Keith playing the piano, of his expertise in the imagery was saying, he has the same skill and expertise playing this game as a pianist does when they play the keys.
It makes no sense. It's an MMO. Things have cooldowns.
I don't know, dude. It's just exonerating his skill. But he beats a boss. Yay.
Skill is limited by the game's mechanics.
Maybe the game's mechanics is written for people with better skill to have better.
I don't know. Understand the game. Anyways, we don't get to see the fight though.
Yeah, this is true. And but anyway, he beats it.
He got the first kill of the Midnight Phantom Cat, and then there's some more bad CGI. And the lady's like, "Oh, look, you got a skill book. That's impressive. Those are rare." And I was just like, "But what do skill books do?"
Give you skill. Now. I don't know. That's what I'm gonna assume, but I don't know.
That's my issue. There's so many things
messages start flood in.
Well, yeah, he kind of deserves them. He kind of deserves them.
Does he though?
Yes, he let his team die.
No, here's the thing: is that the Uncle Moon was blaming him for doing the same thing Uncle Moon was trying to do.
Yes, and he didn't stop it. Like, he could have stopped him. He didn't.
But could he really?
Yes.
How? With all of those little newbies that followed him, so if he tried to call
by doing what he did later in the episode.
I mean, but that would not be the same.
It would have been the same. He could have stopped them all from getting wiped out. He chose not to.
Would they have listened to him?
Maybe.
No.
You don't know. If he showed his prowess, they could have. Like, if he just saved them.
Uncle Moon had zero respect for him. None of those newbies had respect for him. Nobody would have listened to him.
It doesn't matter. He could have shown his skill and made them listen. It would have been easy.
Yeah.
It would have been really easy.
I doubt it.
It would have. Like, they also, like, talk about how...
Then it would have been flipped anyway and still make him out to be the bad guy. But anyway, his boss sees and he explains what happened, and Boss Lady's angry, but YQ is not mad at all, and he's...
No, that is a lie. He is mad. He just doesn't show it on his face.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem mad.
That's annoying to me.
And he's like, does anger have to be written on your face?
Number one, have to be? Yes, this is a visual media. We need to know what the characters are feeling. How do we know what he's feeling?
But you can have a calm and cool and collected character that can be like, yeah, I'm upset, but that's okay. Because we see that.
He doesn't even act like it's okay. He's like, oh no, I'm furious. I just don't show it on my face. And it's just like, I don't like those characters. They're boring. It's a visual media. Show me the emotion. Don't tell me the emotion. Show me your emotion.
So what, would you prefer he screamed and smashed the computer and yelled and threw a temper tantrum in the middle of a computer, a lab or whatever the heck that is? Internet cafe.
I would have preferred when he logged off if he just kind of went, like, showed, like, annoyance of some kind, rather than just, I am done. I am robot.
But he's a professional. He's been a professional gamer gaming this game for 10 years. He cannot throw a temper tantrum.
Angels, have you not heard what Ninja said? If you didn't get mad, then do you even care?
I don't know who Ninja is.
How do you not know who Ninja? He's one of the biggest streamers that was on Twitch.
I mean, I know of him, but I don't know him
Fortnite
personally.
Dude.
Yeah, I don't care about Fortnite. Sorry.
Nor do I. Nor do I. Fortnite's dumb. Also, so is this anime.
But once again, what did you say earlier? That's one person's opinion.
No. Tons of people love Fortnite. I don't like it.
No, about the
I think
dude's
it's dumb.
quote. The dude's quote about getting angry. If you don't get angry, you don't care. Well,
oh yeah,
that's his
no.
opinion.
I think his opinion's stupid, but that's just again, that's my opinion. I just think that honestly, a character needs to show some form of emotion.
I think it makes it interesting and different that he's more stoic, and that's fine by me. Let's see how it plays out. This is only the second
Really,
episode.
It's not interesting to me because even Saitama has emotions.
What? Surprise face and angry face?
No, he gets really happy when there's a sale.
Oh yeah,
he shows...
and 3 emotions.
Oh
Amazing.
Yeah, that's 3 more emotions than this guy has.
He's got emotions. He's not just freaking out in the middle of a public cafe over something that's beyond his control.
No, he shows no emotion ever.
Anyway,
would you prefer
he's keeping his professional bearing at all times. That's what he's doing.
Yes.
But anyway, he heads to bed, his boss heads to bed. Excuse me, his boss heads to bed because she's angry for him. She's very angry, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm mad, but it's whatever. It's a game." And so he goes back into the game, and everyone is whispering about him, and he's like, "I'm gonna have to solo some dungeons from now on." And then we get Uncle Moon talking about heading to doing the same thing. He's got some more newbies. He's ready to head into another dungeon. And he's trying to convince him to join him. And then he sees Lord Grimm again. He's like, you boss stealer, etc. Lord Grimm's like, let's go to make a party.
And what do you know? He tries to get the newbies to turn against him on the first little quest into the forest. They agree. They wanted to kill him before they got to the boss. And yet he raffle stomps the little cat again, and all of the newbies are like, wow, he's amazing, which showed that he could have just done it the first time.
I think he was teaching Uncle Moon a lesson, because as you said earlier, it didn't matter if the newbies got slaughtered or not, because they're just going to respawn. I think if he was preventing Uncle Moon from doing this to any more newbies in the future and destroying their experience within the game.
Except that Uncle Moon was going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and he stopped him. He's teaching Uncle Moon the lesson. That's the point of this.
No, he didn't. Uncle Moon in his place. He could have done that the first time. Because the second time, by doing the thing he does this time.
And so Uncle Moon would have been like, don't listen to him. I'm just going to boot him from the party.
He could have done that this time.
No, because the newbies were never. Let's just continue. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Because you realize that the newbies would have done the same thing that they did this time.
No, they wouldn't have. They would have been like, oh no, because you're just a jerk. Uncle Moon's the cool one.
Why would they have done that when these guys
because now Lord Grimm had a reputation. Lord Grimm
as a bad person.
He was proving himself.
But he had a reputation as a bad person.
And he had a reputation of being powerful.
And a kill stealer, yeah.
It's powerful, and he proved himself. He got the reputation by proving he was powerful, and then he proved he was not a bad guy.
Which he could have just done the first time. Is my whole point. It's just it wouldn't have changed anything.
And he was also leveled up between too.
Well, just because of the last fight, he didn't do any other leveling because it was like immediately into the next fight.
Okay, they imply that he played a lot in between, though.
Not in this moment. In this moment, he went from that boss to going to him to leveling to party with him, because the implication was he does a bunch of these dungeons through the night with them.
I don't know. I got the impression personally that he did level up and play in between.
That was not the impression I got because it moved immediately into it.
But anyway, so they're like, okay, we wrecked the cat. Let's go into the spider cave. And there's other teams in there that were trying to kill the cat again, and they didn't get to kill it. So they're like, well, that sucks. So they go into the grind in the spider cave and to level 10. And in the cave, they are all careful to walk slowly, not to aggro mobs. You know, Lord Grimm don't care. They're just...
Yeah, no, Lord, he just walks in and just kills the spiders and doesn't really care. And they somehow praise him like, oh, it's amazing, but it doesn't like feel amazing because he just kind of swings his thing and like the spiders die, and I'm like, I don't understand how strong these little spiders are, so I can't say if that's actually impressive. To me, it doesn't seem impressive.
That's why I also got the impression that he's been grinding in between as well. These sessions that we see him, because
this is his first day.
You could still grind on your first day and play in between. Well, but it's also that weapon, that whatever he did to get that weapon, it's a secret weapon. It's a special weapon because he can access it so early, and it had to be hidden or some secret somewhere because you don't see any other characters with that weapon.
They described it as like a level 5 spear.
But if it's such a good weapon, then and it's accessible to all these newbies, then they would all have it. I'm thinking he had to do some sort of secret thing to get that weapon. And yes, it is something for newbies, but only experienced players can find it.
Or, hear me out here, a lot of people don't like doing the side quests, and it's probably a side quest chain. Because he did a bunch of side quests, he didn't do the main quest like everybody else was trying to do. He was doing all the side quests that nobody else was doing.
Yeah, so he could level up, and I mean,
that was the first thing.
I doubt it because there'd at least be one or two. I mean, probably yes. It's probably in a side quest chain, but it's probably also a secret. So I don't know. But anyway, so they wrecks the spiders, and then the team shook, and there's another secret boss is coming. It's a really big spooter, and he starts going after it solo, and the team's still shook. And he's like, he's a level 10. We shouldn't do that. We should. And he's like, we see some other teams as well. We have terms. I know words. We see some other terms here. APM is actions per minute.
200 is actions per minute is 200, which
it pretty much means the total number of actions a player can perform. The world record that a human being could perform was by June 818. In a minute. I looked this up because I was curious.
StarCraft 2.
I didn't know what game it was. But a high APM means skill.
Average APM of Korean players is 400.
Yep. That's pros can exceed 450, 500, and beginners usually have around 50 APM. So it's skill.
Yeah, there's just my only problem with that becomes those are in like strategy building games that count your clicks for moving your character, but this is like MMOs have defined limits for when you can use certain skills, and that's what confuses me of the rules of this MMO.
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
We also don't see the game screen. We don't see
sometimes.
The game. We don't see him actually, we don't see it zoom out and see the computer screen as he does.
Yeah, we do. We don't see it during fights. We just see it whenever his screen is flooded with messages.
Yeah, we don't see what the world's like. It could be top down. It could be from perspective. We have no idea what the world's like. It could have more of a strategy to it than an action. Who knows? But anyway, so he's going about 200 APMs at the moment, and at such a low level, that's pretty amazing. And I imagine he could probably do a lot more since normal player average is about 400.
Again,
200 to 400.
It all depends on the game. APMs all depend on the game.
That also probably depends on his level. You know, you were saying that made you mad. How could he do? Well, he's only doing 200 right now. He could probably do a lot more as he levels up.
Still doesn't make. Try an MMO and try that.
I don't play MMOs.
Also, he is a lot older. That's possibly why his APM is a lot lower, and why his
the voice of God has rained down upon us.
Because when you hit 21, your ability to achieve actions per minute slows down dramatically. That's why there aren't a lot of pro gamers over 25.
I was going to say, actually, an interesting fact about that is that he recognizes that the only reason his APM was so low at the moment was because he was tired. That was in the first episode. It was mentioned that he was tired, or he could have done more.
I mean, but still, is it going to be 400 to 800s of expert lower aged people?
It all depends on the game and what the limits of the game are. That's where it comes in. But he does some weird ninja techniques. There's a lot of insulting. Then there's more of the spider fight where he kind of tells people what to do, but what he tells them to do is basically just stand there.
Well, he puts them all at points of the clock and tells them what to do, but pretty much he's controlling the aggro.
Anything though. Yeah, but they don't really do they don't actually attack really. They just kind of stand there.
Well, he has him do some spells and stuff. But anyway, we have another team that's been watching this. It's Blue River and Team Muse. And they're like, oh, Lord Grimm's got to be an expert on a side account. So he's like, go do some research. So we have...
Well, one of the guys that they were talking about, our Yugwe even admits that he knows who the account holder of that account is.
Chase says XP soaking. Was that what they had the little... How many MMOs have you played? Oh, you play League of Legends. Chase plays League of Legends. He's going to be the person. Get back in here. What does XP soaking mean?
I guess if it's like League of Legends, yeah, you could get up to 200. It really depends on what kind of MMO we're talking about. That's the only confusing thing. But yeah, Blue River wants to be his friend. They're asking him to join in some of the dungeons after
we haven't gotten that far.
I'm moving past everything. They did a spider fight. The spider died.
Lord Grimm's team's excited for their kill, and they call him Brother Expert and Uncle Moon's Angies. And then they stumble on the hidden boss of the Spider Monarch, and that's when he does the other things. And now the little newbies are loyal to Lord Grimm, and they want him as a party lead. And they said, he's like, we can only win if you listen to me. You cut through too much. I'm gonna summarize this. And
it doesn't really matter that much.
I think it does, because it's like now these newbies, they don't listen to Uncle Moon anymore. They're now listening to him. But so they follow the commands. The Big Spooter, they get positions, and Uncle Moon, he picks on Uncle Moon some. That was pretty funny. And there's Spooter, but the newbies were taking care of the Spooter eggs and controlling the mob as well. They weren't doing nothing. And he gives orders like a seasoned general, and everyone listens, even Uncle Moon, and he's everywhere at once. He does a shadow clone thing, but yeah, he's told to stand there, and he does. He listens. That's what I said.
No, he doesn't, because even the guy... Yugwe even tells him, what are you doing away from your spot?
Okay, fair enough.
He does not stay in his location.
So Lord Grimm does this shadow clone thing, and Uncle Moon's still ingy about it. And he just wrecks a spider. And we have crowd control, term CC, which is crowd control, so keep the mobs controlled. That's what the newbies are doing. They're taking out the spider eggs before they hatch, and when they do hatch, they're keeping the mob controlled. Because he could get stun lock. There you go.
Barely shown, though. It's mostly focused on him beating up Spider-Man.
But he find out that the point of me not skipping this is you find out that he came up with this complicated strat on the fly. There was no other strat for this. He just took the calculation of what the team members could do, and he came up with this perfect strategy to get rid of this secret hidden boss, the Spider Monarch, which is like super powerful boy spider, I guess.
Which he knew the conditions of activating, though, because he's played this game for 10 years.
Yes, but the point is... earlier you said it doesn't matter how skillful he is. You can't do that in the game. Well, now I say no, because this showcases that skill and that team leading and that decision making that he has as a person.
Yes, congratulations. Again, that is something that is like you expect from a character that a 10-year veteran who is a team leader. You're like, yeah, he's a team leader. He's showing off his team leadership. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual abilities he pulls off in the game don't make sense. His strategizing and everything, I'm perfectly fine with that. He was a team leader for 10 years. Played this game for that long. Good. Solid. Okay. I just don't understand how he's pulling off everything else skill-wise, or what cooldown rates are, or refresh rates, or any of that. But anyways.
Blue River we don't know what kind of game it is, but yeah. We see Blue River's team, and this is when they were searching Lord Grimm, and they talk about him and Sleepy Moon, which is Uncle Moon. And then they announce the winner again, and then he's like, yeah, Lord Grimm's pretty awesome. And they're in the top, their guild's in the top 3 spots, and they don't want to lose a spot. So they're like, hey, we need this guy. So we see a dude at a TP computer drinking some tea, and he's like, this guy's a rare talent. And, yeah.
He shows emotion.
Then we see GQ let his team have all the drops. The only thing he
just
wanted
the spider silk.
Spider silk, and he still doesn't have enough. Go ahead.
He wants rare items. That's everything he wants is just rare items. He doesn't really care about anything else.
So we see somebody at Blue River spamming him with messages. They get in a chat. Pretty much this dude has a very popular player. This is a side account, and he's like, I want your help doing this thing. And they go into this haggling. Yeah, he's a pro player.
Which I think it was mentioned earlier that was someone that UQ actually knows.
EQ, yeah. And his main account is Blue Bridge Spring Snow.
Which
and he does seem to know him, but he doesn't let on that he knows him.
He wants UQ for some battles, and UQ's like, I want rare items. This is the list of materials I want. And he's like, you're asking for too much.
He wants spider silk and wolf fangs and wolf pelts and all this kind of stuff.
Hundreds of them, yes.
Yes.
I imagine it's because he's going to craft an item.
A mithril pendant and...
Hundreds of them.
Yes. And he's like, yeah, well, I also want 10 more. Yeah, And so he's like, okay, they make a deal. And then his teammates are like, what are you doing? Why are you making a deal? We just want to test him. But it's too late. It happened.
And he shows his disappointment in himself because he got too wrapped up in it. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the emotions
of text on a screen.
The character outside answering shows his disappointment in himself.
Yeah, but it was entertaining. And so it's the next morning. Boss Lady comes back.
It's not even the next morning. It's noon.
Yeah, you're right. It's noon. They chat about the game, and he got his first 3 kills in one night. And the Boss Lady's like, and he's like, yeah, I just had good luck. So he gets a room. It's like in a room in her room at the top of the internet cafe.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible room.
It's half storage, and she apologizes, but he's like, it's all right. He just
goes in there, and he goes in there, he passes out. Sleeps
He's instantly asleep.
Wakes up the next day and everything's quiet and dark. Yeah, everything's quiet and dark because they do a public announcement of Yuki's retirement, and Boss Lady's like crying over it. He's just going out to smoke a cigarette. And she's like, oh, "Why aren't you sad?" And he's like, "Why should I be?"
Yeah, but he is upset. You see, I think what he do? His hand or something. He did something to.
He just grabbed a cigarette.
I understood by the way he was watching that he was very upset by this. He was from not just like the way he was sitting there and listening and watching. I understood, and I'm halfway emotionally dead, that he was upset, even though he wasn't showing it.
From all of his words and actions, he doesn't seem upset at all.
Bio in chat says that's morning to me. LOL.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, so she's like bawling her eyes out over the retirement, and I'm just like, dude, come on.
And he's just like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm not going to cry about it kind of thing. You do find, they do announce to everybody, they make a list of, when they did the announcement, they listed all of his achievements, and that one Autumn Leaf is still going to stay within the team, but just the player's gone. And then, they're upset, they talk about it.
I don't understand how no one notices that Lord Grimm looks exactly like one Autumn Leaf, and also... If he was such a professional player,
I'm sure a lot of those characters look exactly the same.
But I'm saying, have you seen any sportscasts that do any form of esports? They show the players' faces.
Maybe
someone's got to know what he looks like after 10 years.
Well,
live events and things like that.
Look at Yojak, our Orgs leader. He doesn't show his face. He's been on camera when he played, and he doesn't show us. He has his mask.
Yeah, but it just doesn't. Seemed like after 10 years he's done public events and stuff like that. Someone's got to know what he looks like.
I don't know what to tell you.
Weird to me. It's just weird to me. Well, that's the episode.
Yeah, it is the episode, and pretty much it's very cold outside, and this internet cafe is literally right across the street from his old team HQ.
Which is weird.
I don't know. But that's what we got going on for Anime Club, and I'm excited. I'm enjoying both of these animes. They're not the most... I mean, I think King's Avatar is great.
I hate King's Avatar.
Dr. Hamui is very entertaining to me. I want to see what happens in the future. I'm actually kind of glad Chase our broadcaster for when we meet him in the future to come explain more of how MMOs and stuff work, because I haven't played them.
I know how MMOs work. That's why I'm confused by it.
I haven't, but like League of Legends and stuff, have you played League?
Yes, I've got tons of hours in League.
Oh, well.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're going to move right on to Empire News. We are still looking for an Anime Club community manager to host Anime Club on the weekends, as well as manage community events alongside our marketing director, Aaliyah. If you are interested in being the community manager, you need to get a hold of YoJack in our Discord, and you could host Anime Club yourself. It could be a good time. Yeah, we could have Anime Club back. And we also have our patrons to thank: Chase, who's a Soul Reaper, Lisa AXO, who is a Soul Reaper, and Adam S., who is a Soul Reaper. Thank you guys so much. And as being our patrons, you guys get access to the show after the show, where this time we are talking about the Animatrix, which is an isekai. I mean,
it's really not. It's really not. Anyways, and for those of you, it's not an isekai. And for those of you who would like to know, next week's movie is Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dark Side of Dimensions.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
We're going to be watching a Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie.
Kaiba!
Your move, Seto Kaiba!
I play my Dark Magician! I imagine it's going to be great.
But I have money.
For as little as $1 a month, you guys can be a patron and access not only our Season 0, but also our post-show.
Yes.
And it'd be a good time. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching.
Everybody?
Don't. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, which I'm sure there's a link, our social media platforms, and then DC and I's Let's Play channels. Have a good time.
And don't forget to let us know your thoughts on our topics or the animes in the comments or in the Discord. I still want to know
what your guys' favorite isekais are. Okay, please. Thank you. Anyway, guys, see y'all next time.